Hello guys, it's me Foxfire. Today we are going to talk about Baldur Gate 3. Baldur Gate 3 is the game based on Dungeons and Dragons. It's coming this month on early access. It'll be a fun game to play and I will tell you why. This game is based on the Dungeons of Dragons, so it's got all these rule set kind of thing. It's got that turn-based strategy kind of scenario, which, if you are a big fan, is will entertain you guys. And so now let's go with the story of Baldur's Gate 3. So the plot of the story goes as that the bad guys, also known as the mind flayers, the tentacle guys, are trying to turn the people into mind flayers using tadpoles kind of things. And the reason they're doing this is because they used to be in a different plane, not in this realm, in a different plane, and they lost this realm, and they come to this realm so they could rebuild their empire. And so the race that kicked them out of that realm also will come out with dragons. In the first trailer, they've shown those guys coming with a ship. They've mastered travel between the realms, and now they're planning to invade the world and turn everyone into mind flayers so they could have an army to fight against the Gothraki, or the guys, the green guys you see in dragons. Also, we as the player and our party is also affected by these tadpole kind of things that are trying to turn us into mind flayers, but it's not have that kind of effect that we have not turned into those tentacle like things. So we are in a okay situation, and we are trying to get these tadpoles removed and try to also stop the mind flayers. We start our adventures in the wilderness after the ship has crashed. In this game, they have a party system, so we and our party will begin our adventures from that point. In that party, like for the early access, currently there are five partyable characters. One is the vampire guy, the mage, the warrior priest, the Guthraki fighter, and the warlord. Each of them have their own background story, and I've shown you some of those pictures, those five partyable members. Now that I've given a little kind of introduction for this game, now let me talk why I love this game. It's got this dialogue kind of situations where, depending on the dialogues that we make, the story changes, different outcomes appear. This all happen in this game. That's the beauty of it. This game is based on Dungeons and Dragons, the board game. So it has these kinds of rule sets from Dungeons of Dragons. So in many dialogue scenarios where sometimes our charm is dependent, intellect is dependent on, our intimidation is dependent on. There's a dice rolling system which, if you get above this value, that dialogue will succeed or it will end up in failure. In this, I have shown a video where we are talking, we are intimidating the enemy, but the intimidation fails, so it immediately leads to combat. But if we succeeded, we could have avoided the combat system. So this game is not only about combat, it's about the dialogues that we made. Baldur Gate 3 is not a hack and slash game with only combat in base. It's also about the dialogues. The dialogues also affect the story, the gameplay and everything. And the rule sets and the dice rolling also makes it more interesting. How we played, depending on the type of story we want to follow, we could choose that. So in the end, we are the ones who are making the story up as we go, as we follow, as we talk dialogue with the party members. We also, in this game, there is the cam system. It's good. There we are able to communicate with our other party members. These dialogues, as you might think, as you can understand from I told before, will affect the future outcomes of the games, how we interact with our companions. It all depends on that, these dialogues. And also the rule sets will be there. As you can, the dice rolling will happen. I've shown you some cases of what will happen, dice rolling, success, failure. With from what I said about dialogue, doesn't mean that Baldur Gate 3 is a novel, this visual novel kind of game. It has its combat system, and the combat system is good. It's it's got that game environment interaction kind of scenarios things. Like the game environment will either help us or hinder us. In some scenario there is grease, so if you put fire on that, the ground will burn, and if you walk on it, what do you expect? Normal cases, it's you just walk, nothing happens, but here it will affect us and we will get started getting burn damage. There's so many this kind of scenarios. In this video I have shown you a case where they knock the enemy from the top buildings. This is another case of the game environment helping us. Also remember, it could also hinder us. I told you about the fire case, that is one case. And so from what I could see is that it's got a beautiful story, one where we could literally choose the story. This is also good if you are having a favorite streamer who's going to stream this game. It's going to be exciting for those fans of those streamers, because they could choose how their story. They could like ask the streamer to choose this option and follow that story. It's getting interesting. But and the only reason I love it is because of the dialogues, the data set, and then the combat. As you can see, the game environment kind of interaction kind of games, I like it. And another major reason why I like it is because it's based on Dungeons and Dragons. I love that. So this game is going to be very attractive for those guys who are interested in Dungeons or Dragons, for those who love RTS, this turn-based kind of games, and the fans of the Baldur's games. Those guys will love this game obviously. And for those who are new to this kind of genre, for this Baldur Gate 3 and who have never played, I would recommend you guys to try this. With the current scenario is that they got all these kind of RPG games. It's all about hack and slash. You don't have RPGs with this turn-based strategy kind of things that Baldur Gate is offering. So I would recommend you guys to play this, because it will be a new experience for those guys who have not played this kind of games. Also, there has not been much big games in turn-based strategy for some time now, and Baldur Gate 3 brings a new experience, a new life into this genre. So I hope you guys liked this, what I've talked about the game. If you like the game, then I have good news for you guys. It's coming in early access in September 30th this month. I hope you guys will purchase and play the game and experience what I talked firsthand. I hope you guys like the video. Like and subscribe guys. Thank you.